Today's Ekadashi, the Indira Ekadashi. So we'll hear the Ekadashi Katha. The glories of Indira Ekadashi are described in the Brahma Vaivatra Puran in a conversation between Lord Krishna and Maharaj Yudhishthir. Maharaj Yudhishthir asked, O Krishna, O Madhusudana, what is the name of the Ekadashi that occurs during the waning moon in the month of September October? What are the rules and regulations for observing this Ekadashi? And what is the merit one gains by observing it? So over here, Yudhishthira is also asking that what is the merit that one gains? But in reality, really, for all of us, the merit is on one side. But Krishna becomes very happy when one fasts for Ekadashi. In fact, on the cover of this Ekadashi book, Ekadashi is referred to as the mother of devotion. Right? That means what does she give? The mother, whatever a mother has, she gives that abundantly to the kids. Right? In fact, she will fight to give more to her kids than to anyone else. And the mother is, what is the mother doing for the kid always? For the child. She's always taking care of her children, no matter how old they are. Right? So similarly, Ekadashi is known as the mother of devotion. So when we fast, Ekadashi Maya blesses us with more devotion, and that pleases Krishna even more. So when we fast for Ekadashi, it already pleases Krishna. Then it pleases Ekadashi Maya also. Ekadashi Maya then blesses us with more devotion. It's a cycle where we keep growing in love for Krishna. Our separation from Krishna starts to feel like, why is there separation between Krishna and me? How can I go back to that Godhead, to that Krishna, to that abode where we came from? That Golokdam, how can I go back there? In fact, today only one of Srila Prabhupada's quote came, in which Srila Prabhupada is saying that if you are not chanting attentively, even if we are chanting with offenses, we will continue to make progress. So keep chanting. But if we are chanting with focus and attention and we're following the regulative principles, right, then it is very easy in this lifetime to go back to Krishna, to make this our last. Srila Prabhupada said that, right? So, over here, Lord Krishna replied, right, to Yudhishthir's question. The name of the sacred Ekadashi is Indira Ekadashi. By observing this Ekadashi, one can deliver his forefathers and all of his sinful reactions are eradicated. So, as you know, now Shraddh is going on, right, where we are offering food to the brahmanas, to the cows. Why? So that reaches our ancestors wherever they are. So that reaches all of our ancestors. So even in the Bhagavatam, it's described actually why this Shraddh is performed. And the reason is that when we leave this body, then we have to go to Chitragupt over there. All of our records are maintained. How many good deeds we have done, how many bad deeds, and what will happen to our next life. Do we go to heaven? Do we go to hell? How much time we have to stay in hell? After how much time we will come back here from hell? Or where do we go after this? If we go to heaven, how much time do we have in heaven? After heaven, when do we come back? What kind of body we will get? Right? Will we be an animal? Will we be a human? Whatever it is. So Chitragupt has the full record. So based upon that, right, we will get the next body. But because there are so many souls, living entities that are dying every day, so actually there is a long line to get to even to that Chitragupt, to that part, to where all of our records are reviewed. How we go to the DMV, we go to post office, anywhere we go, even supermarket to pay the money, we have lines. So in the same way, there is a line after we leave this body, and it is a long line. It is a very long line. Because everybody's and over there, everybody's waiting to see what will happen. Right? What will happen? So everybody's in anxiety. Everybody is not feeling good. That whole line is described as being a process which is very in layman's term and material term, it takes a toll on your mental health because you are so worried. Why am I here? What will happen to me? Where will I go next? Why didn't I use my human birth to chant Krishna's name to go back to Krishna? The soul becomes very worried and anxious and all of these things during that time. And now that soul also, right, needs food, needs water. It is the sukshma body, right? Is the soul. So when we offer this every Shrad, right, for our forefathers, when we perform this, when we give food to the Brahmanas, to the cows, that then reaches them. And they don't have to wait for 1 year for the food because imagine the time difference, right? In the heavenly planets, the time actually is moving much faster. That's why Brahma's 1 day of Brahma is 4 yuga cycles. Or sorry, it's 100 yuga cycles, 1 day of Brahma. The 4 yugas times 100, that is 1 day of Brahma. Once one king from earth went to Brahmalok because he was like, I'm not finding a suitable boy for my daughter. And he spoke to Brahma maybe for 1 minute. And then Brahma told him that, okay, you can go and marry whoever you want. And he wanted to ask for something. So he got it. And he said, okay, now I'm leaving. But Brahma said, wait, where are you going? You were here for 1 minute, but on earth, thousands of years have passed. So the time difference of when we leave this body and when we're waiting for Chitragupt is very high. So how we receive food 3 times a day in this body. So over here on earth, 1 year has passed for us. But over there, when the soul is waiting to go to Chitragupt, right, it has only been maybe few hours, maybe 5, 6 hours. Not like one full day also. So every year that we are performing the Shrad so that our ancestors and whoever is suffering receives the food 3 times a day. But our Acharya, our Guru Maharaj says that if we are chanting during this time, if we are offering bhog to Krishna every single day, right? You don't need to perform any of the Shraddh because the soul, all of our forefathers, ancestors, are not only receiving the food, but they're also receiving a lot of mercy and blessings so that they can get a human body, become a devotee, and go back to Godhead. Right? So simply chanting and offering bhoga to the Lord, our ancestors, always remain happy, less anxious, and not only that, but they also get a chance to be born in a devotee family to learn about Krishna and go back to Godhead. Right? So then all of the other Shraddh, Pind, all of those just become rituals. So in these days, especially during Shraddh, chanting has the most benefit for our ancestors. And even chanting during the non-Shraddh days. Right? A lot of people are feeding the cows, they're giving to the brahmanas, they're feeding or giving something to the daughters of the house. All of that is great. But we're only doing that once a year. To do this every single day, or not even every day, 3 times a day, if we offer bhog to Lord Krishna, and if we're chanting throughout the day, Our ancestors become very pleased with us. A lot of times they say that there's Pitradosh, there is some ancestor who's not happy, some ancestor who's suffering somewhere because their future generations did not do anything or did not do something properly. All of that becomes null and void the moment we start chanting Krishna's name. Forget that. A lot of times we go to the astrologer, to the Jyotish, that which graha of mine is spoiled, what should I be doing, right? Once we start chanting Krishna's name, once we see Lord Jagannath, once we see Vrindavan Chandra, once we see Sham Sundar simply by having their darshan, it is said all of our planets that may be in the incorrect position, right? They come into their correct position and they all become favorable for us. So on this Ekadashi day, let us make this sankalp, take this vow that we will chant a little bit every day. We will offer bhoga to Lord Krishna at least once a day. Right? Because it is said that as we offer water simply to the root of the plant, right? We do not sit and offer water to every branch, every leaf. You offer water to the root, the entire tree receives that water. Similarly, offering bhoga to Lord Krishna, the demigods are pleased, our ancestors are pleased, everybody is pleased because they are receiving that from Krishna. Krishna is that root. Right? So just imagine it is not that our ancestors are only going to be receiving something or be pleased with us when you offer Shraddh, but if we are chanting Krishna's name and if we are offering Bhoga every day, they are pleased in every single moment. So that suffering when the soul is waiting to go meet Chitragupt in that long line, and we don't know how long it will take, right? It is described in the Bhagavatam. It's a long line that we are waiting to go and see Chitragut, and we're getting anxious. We're wondering what will happen. We're getting so worried. We we are completely lost. We cannot think anything. We cannot do anything. But then, to those future generations that start chanting, start remembering Lord Krishna, offering bhoga to Lord Krishna, right? Our forefathers, they become calm and at peace. At the same time, they're receiving the mercy to become a human being in a devotee family or in a place where they can learn about Krishna and go back to Krishna. So imagine how pleased will those ancestors be if we are chanting and if we are offering bhoga even once a day to Lord Krishna. Let us try that. Right? And then there's one more point about astrology that we will revisit in the future kathas. But if one, or I'll just quickly mention that katha. Because when the Mahabharata was going to start, right? So Duryodhan's father, right? The king, I'm forgetting his name. His name is not coming right now. He called the astrologer, right? The fathers of the Kauravas, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra called the family astrologer, and at those times, the astrologers were very pure and they could see everything, then see the future. Right? So he was about to make a very big decision about going to war with the Pandavas for the kingdom. So he wanted to consult, make sure this is the right decision. So he called the astrologer. And at that time, he was so learned and so pure. The astrologer saw the charts. And the astrologer actually brought 50, 60 people with him. Everybody created the charts. Everybody saw it. Everybody reviewed it. Kind of how we work in teams today to build a product or to deliver something. The astrologer was came with his team. He built out all the charts, saw everything, confirmed with his team, and he went back to Dhritarashtra and told him that all of the planets are in your favor. If you were to go to war, Duryodhan will definitely win and become the king. right, and remain the king. But we all know what happened. Why is that? So then, as the war began progressing, right, Dhritarashtra began to realize that it is not going in his favor or Duryodhana's favor. In the middle of the war, as the war is going on, Dhritarashtra called that same astrologer again. And this time that astrologer again came with all of his team and all the people. They recreated all of the charts again. Dhritarashtra said, "This is not going as the plan. Recheck everything and confirm to me that yes, my son will win." The astrologer looked at the chart and he was left amazed. He could not believe, his team could not believe, all of the people over there were wondering what happened. That astrologer came and told Dhritarashtra that when we first initially created these charts, everything was correct. Everything was in Duryodhana's favor. But now that we have recreated this, there is some force, right? There is a force on the battlefield due to which all of the planets that were in favor of Duryodhana are now have rotated, have turned their positions, have switched their positions, are in favor of Arjuna now. Right? And so who is that power? Dhritarashtra was left speechless. He was like, why couldn't you tell me this before? I would have not gone to war. The astrologer said, even we did not know this. Even we could not see this. Because there is that force. It is said that wherever there is Krishna, you do not need to worry about any direction, any planets, because when we have the moment that we have darshan of Krishna's lotus feet, of his lotus calves, his lotus thighs, right, his lotus navel and stomach, his broad lotus chest, his big lotus shoulders, right? His big lotus biceps, lotus triceps, the lotus hands, the lotus face, the lotus smile, the lotus eyes. We're having darshan. All of our planets come in the right position, they become favorable. In fact, there's when we have darshan of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra also, right? You look at their lotus eyes, you look at the left lotus eye, the right lotus eye, then the entire lotus face, and in that way, whatever sins we have performed, whatever wrong planets we have, whatever incorrect is going on with us, everything becomes correct. That is the way how we have darshan of Lord Jagannath. By looking at the left lotus eye, the right big lotus eye, right? Then the lotus smiling face of Lord Jagannath. And in that way, we become completely pure. So we continue with this, bro. Krishna replied, we'll get back to the Ekadashi Katha. Krishna replied that the name of the sacred Ekadashi is Indira Ekadashi. By observing this Ekadashi, one can deliver his forefathers and all of his sinful reactions are eradicated. There was a king named Indrasen who lived in the Satya Yuga. He was expert in subduing his enemies. He happily ruled his kingdom Mahishmati with great prosperity, surrounded by his children and grandchildren. He was attached to the devotional service of Lord Vishnu and spent his time chanting the holy names of Sri Govinda, the bestower of liberation. One day, while Indrasen was sitting in his palace, Narad Muni appeared before him from the sky. On seeing the sage Narada, the king immediately stood up with folded hands and offered his respectful obeisances and worshipped him. After Narada was happily seated, he asked Indrasen, O king, is everyone happy and prosperous in your kingdom? In your mind is your mind fixed in religious principles? Are you engaged in devotional service of Lord Vishnu? So these are the questions a sadhu asks. Are you performing your chanting? How is your devotional service going? Right? They don't care about is your job going well? Are you making money? Is everything good? Right? They care about how we're serving Lord Krishna, how are we serving Lord Vishnu, how we're making this human birth successful. The king replied, O best of the sages, everything is well and auspicious by your mercy. Today my life has become successful by your darshan. O sage, amongst the demigods, please tell me the cause of your arrival. So Narad Muni is the sage of the demigods. After hearing these humble words of the king, Narad Muni said, "Please hear about a wonderful incident. One time I traveled from the abode of Brahma to the abode of Yamraj. Yamraj greeted me respectfully and worshipped me properly. In the assembly of Yamraj, I saw your pious father. As a result of breaking an Ekadashi vow too early, your father had to go to Yamalok. He gave a message to me and requested me to convey it to you. He said, Indrasen, the king of Mahishmati, is my son. Please tell him that I am living in the abode of Yamraj. He should observe the vow of Indira Ekadashi to release me from my present condition of life." So this father who was very pious, Narad Muni himself said he was very pious, right? And he broke his Ekadashi fast too early by accident. And he ended up in the Yamalok. So just imagine for if we are not fasting on Ekadashi, right? What will happen? So we should try and fast for Ekadashis also. Not to scare anyone or do anything, but health also you should see. If you cannot, due to health reasons also, that's different, but try to fast if you can. Narad Muni continued, O king, this is your father's request. To elevate your father to the spiritual world, you should observe the vow of Indira Ekadashi. King Indrasen said, Kindly explain to me the procedure for following this Indra Ekadashi. Narad Muni replied, O king, on the day before Ekadashi, one should bathe early in the morning and faithfully offer oblations to the forefathers for their satisfaction. So we could not do this yesterday, so we should offer obeisances to all of our forefathers at this point, to our ancestors, because if one of them also was not there, we would not be here today. So we should offer obeisances to our forefathers, both on our mother's side, father's side of the family. On that day, one should eat only once and sleep on the floor at night. This is the day before, still Narad Muni is talking about, right? We should only eat once on the day before Ekadashi. But over here, we should try and do as much as possible. If it's not possible, we can still eat at night, but try to eat light meals on the night before Ekadashi. On the day of Ekadashi, one should rise early in the morning, brush his teeth, wash his hands and mouth, and take bath. Thereafter, he should observe a total fast and pray to Lord, saying, O lotus-eyed one, I take shelter of you. At noon, in front of a Shaligram Shila, right? Today, Krishna is there. Wherever there's Krishna, Shaligram Shila, Vishnu, all of them are there, right? So in front of Shaligram Shila or Krishna, he should offer oblations to his forefathers according to the proper rules and regulations. Then he should worship the Brahmanas, feed them sumptuously, and give them charity. The pind that was offered to the forefathers should be fed to the cows. During the day, one should worship Lord Rishikesh with sandalwood paste, flowers, incense, lamp, and foodstuff. One should remain awake at that night while chanting, hearing, and remembering the names, forms, and qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. On the day after Ekadashi, one should worship Lord Hari in the morning and feed the Brahmanas. Then he should feed his relatives, and at last he should break the fast while maintaining silence. O king, if you follow this Ekadashi, then your father will certainly be elevated to the abode of Vishnu. After speaking in this way, Narad Muni disappeared from there. King Indrasen strictly observed Indira Ekadashi according to the instructions of Narad Muni, along with his children, relatives, servants, and other subjects. When they completed the vow of Ekadashi, flowers showered from the sky. King Indrasen could then see his father riding on the back of Garuda to the abode of Lord Vishnu. The saintly King Indrasen ruled his kingdom without any impediment. At the end of his life, he entrusted the kingdom to his son and returned to the spiritual world. Anyone who reads or hears the glories of this Ekadashi becomes free from all sinful reactions and ultimately is elevated to the abode of Vishnu. So, simply by hearing us on this date is very auspicious. And tomorrow, on the Dwadashi day, when we break fast, before we break our fast, we of course have to give some donation, some charity to the Brahmanas or to our spiritual master, offer something to them, right? Offer obeisances to Lord Krishna. ask for any ask for forgiveness for any faults or offenses we may have committed during this Ekadashi today. And then offer the vow, all the fruit of this Ekadashi, right? Offer it to our ancestors. Our ancestors, we don't know who is suffering where or in what condition they may be. Right? Take a vow to offer the fruit of this Ekadashi or the fruit of listening to this Katha to our ancestors so everybody becomes free and they enjoy and they go back to Krishna's abode. When we offer that vow, let us make that vow for tomorrow that before we break our fast, we will offer all of the fruits of this Ekadashi to our ancestors. There's also Shraddh going on. We should feed the Brahmanas or give in charity to the Brahmanas or to our spiritual master. And then by taking blessings of our Guru Maharaj, of our spiritual master, of Krishna, offer the fruit to our ancestors, and then we should break the fast. Because hopefully, anywhere where any of our ancestors may be, when we offer them the fruit of this Ekadashi, hopefully everybody will get elevated to the abode of Lord Vishnu and go back to Godhead. So it is very important Ekadashi in this Shraddh, right? Even if we have not fasted, but we have heard this Katha, right? Let us pray that we offer the fruit from the listening of this Katha also to our ancestors. And in that way, all of our ancestors can hopefully go back to Krishna shortly. So that is the Ekadashi Katha for today. And then we'll end here today, and then we'll continue tomorrow. Before we end, we'll chant together Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Krishna.